Hi there, and welcome to the BTS Technologies overview on remote workforce. We're going to discuss the 7 steps to achieve remote nirvana and what that looks like in very broad terms. The nitty gritty, the detail, it has to happen on an individual basis. So building a remote workforce is typically easier to do from scratch, right? We haven't learned any bad habits yet, and we haven't made any tech choices that have locked us into 36-month contracts, that we signed 8 months ago. But we rarely get that opportunity. Businesses, they grow in bursts, and our technology is the same way. We don't have the luxury of looking ahead to what we need. We have to work with what we have right now. Uh, Too many people are locked in that train of thought, but that's what we have, and that's how we end up with a lot of companies where you start out, you're using your personal cell phone, you have a My Company at Gmail for a shared email address. You're really lacking branding and presentation. So, let me introduce BTS real quick, and we can dive into what you can be doing to plan ahead for your remote workforce and how you can succeed. So, BTS Technologies was founded in 1976 as Business Telephone Systems. This is shortly after the Carter phone decision that broke up the Bell networks, right? Which still managed to come together as AT&T and all that, but it spawned an industry. It was a big deal. We refocused as a managed service provider in 2001 and renamed ourselves at that time, and have since then have evolved into a much more in-depth managed technology solutions provider, or MTSP. We work doggedly to provide our partners with the right technology to give them an active competitive edge, not just cookie cutter solutions. All right. We also work with a trade organization called Technology Assurance Group, or TAG, and they help give us access to $350 million worth of purchasing power across 137 markets, right? So we have a national presence, but we are headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama. So, for many companies, we are the single point of contact for phones, surveillance cameras, and all things IT and cybersecurity. In the last couple of years, we've really devoted ourselves to being the premier provider of secure cloud solutions. So a lot of what we move going forward is based around cloud, with on-premise being kind of the fallback position. If we start on-premise, like many companies will, we will work to get you to the cloud. So a little bit about myself as your presenter today. I am William Wintowski. I am the third generation management at BTS Technologies. When I was younger and in my teens, I would show up and pull cable and so on, but that was for the good of the company. Uh, I then went to the University of Alabama, got a degree in international management, and I graduated in 2010, at which point I joined the management team here at BTS Technologies. I am a lifelong computer nerd, and I like to throw in there that I am a Rotarian. I say this because of the rotary four-way test. It's how I like to conduct business. For those unfamiliar, the 4 items are: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Right? That's the four-way test. Right? I take that into business as well. I don't like to propose solutions with no benefit. While I enjoy making a sale, I'm not going to come at you with something that does nothing for you and does not benefit you in any way. It's not good for anyone. Uh, the rest could be a big old dating profile about what I like, dislike, so on and so forth, but that's not why we're here. We're here about remote workforce. So, step one, and this is always the first step, is an assessment. And you're going to hear this from every tech provider that's ever existed, but it's the first thing you have to do, right? If you think you broke a bone, okay, you go get a doc to take an x-ray of it, right? You don't just say, oh, hey, I think I broke it, drop a cast on it without knowing what's going on. All right. Same thing applies to your network and how your business operates. Okay. We need to look at the network for any glaring vulnerabilities and what your current infrastructure can manage. When we do this, we find a surprising amount of companies that have been sold some real snake oil with things like improperly configured firewalls, which literally aren't protecting anything, and physical storage arrays where there's drives that are poking out, not even fully plugged in, We had this with a customer we took over. Their previous provider had a drive failure in their data array, and they replaced it, and they never seeded the drive back in. So what that meant was they had a 4-week period where they had less protection. They were down a hard drive, and then after quote unquote remediation by the existing provider, it wasn't fixed. Right? It was another 3 weeks before we were called in to do the job, and we said, "Oh, hey, by the way, this isn't working." All right. If you are already in some level of remote workforce, we will also, we need to do an inventory. That'll happen either way. We got to figure out what people are using at home as well as what you have access to as a company. And, is this company provided equipment? Is this personal devices? Additionally, with remote workforce, we need to take a look at what the home office looks like. All right. So we like people to have a video or photo review of workspaces. All right. Make sure there's nothing super embarrassing or that it's really junky, right? If it looks like the photo on the left, you're going to be really embarrassed to have that person make a video call. And if it's a salesperson, it's going to be even worse, right? They look disorganized, they are disorganized, and they make a really poor image for your company when you got that pile in the background. What you want is for it to look like on the right. Not only does this help with your professional image on said calls, but it helps put you in the right mindset to work. And I know what you're thinking. I'm a pack rat myself. So it can be a real struggle to try to keep the office space clean as well. But you need to do it. Step 2 is access, right? What do you have for an internet provider? What are your speeds? We have to establish a minimum level here. Okay. And then, because we might be in a hybrid situation, right? You want to be remote, but you're not there yet. So, do we have local servers at your headquarters? Are we in the cloud already? Right? This changes our bandwidth needs and where it's needed. Okay. Download speeds, right, have largely been a non-issue in the last 5 years, maybe even up to 10, depending on how much money you throw at the problem. But upload speeds can still be a real hang-up. A residential upload, you'll get 10, maybe 20 megabytes upload, which for a lot of applications, not the worst thing, but if you want to go full virtual, it can be a bit of an issue at times. Likewise, if you have too many users in an office and you're relying on just that cable modem with 200 megabit down and 10 up, you're going to have a hard time. So, the other thing we have to establish is it secure, right? Especially for a remote site like an employee's house or apartment. Do they have their own internet? Are they just stealing from a neighbor? Or is there an unsecured connection? Do they have adequate Wi-Fi coverage? So we've set up that nice home office, but it's the far end away from their access point, and they phase in and out on the network. Okay. Uh, Likewise, how critical is the user? If they do fall offline for a few minutes, is that a huge problem? Residential connections can be pretty spotty at times. I know from my experience, I had a customer that that their office was 3 blocks from my house, and my cable modem works just fine, and theirs would go out 3 times a day, often for an hour or more, and that's unsustainable. So, will we need to deploy SD-WAN or anything with LTE failover to the location? All right, these are critical things that we have to establish. Further, we have to really focus in on security. So, cybersecurity, everyone's beating this horse. There's a whole lot of nothing said about it, and at the same time, it's yelled about constantly. Here's the facts of it. 45% of home offices are already infected with some level of malware, right? Where they're work computers that were never really secured to begin with when they were sent home, or they are family computers that have 4 different users, and who knows what Timmy's getting up to on it that's infecting everything. So, the facts of it are that we have to use multi-factor authentication, advanced passwords, along with password managers, and a host of other infrastructure items like firewalls, right, that the end user might never see, but needs to be there. We also have to continue with regular user training and testing, right? A high fence with barbed wire keeps out a lot of people, but only if you lock the gate. Okay. So here at BTS, we like to go above and beyond here, right? Because the end user is the most vulnerable piece. So we deploy the typical simulated phishing packages and training videos and dark web scans to look for vulnerabilities, right? That is the minimum level. That is truly the minimum level there that you need to be doing with your employees. We also like to incorporate live training. So if you aren't remote yet, or you have your staff come in a couple days a week, right, for camaraderie, then we can do in person. We'll bring snacks. And for remote companies, we can do the video conferences. What this does, it helps us address end user questions immediately that videos can't handle. And it typically helps with subject matter retention, right? People remember this more than just watching a video. It also helps that, we bring prizes, so people pay attention more often. And additionally, if you're really embracing a hybrid remote force, right, where you still have a physical office that people come into, CCTV becomes significantly more important. You want to know who is coming, going from the building, right? Likewise, theft can take longer to report. If you only work Tuesdays and Thursdays, if something happens on Friday, no one's going to know till Tuesday, right? So we want something that is a robust cloud solution that has reliable alerts and can't be tampered with, right? No one can go in and steal your DVR out of the back or smash a hard drive or anything like that. So then we move on to devices, right? As mentioned, security. Okay, people might be using a home device, and that's not ideal. Uh, in a pinch, it works, but that's really not the goal. I really recommend a company-owned laptop, uh, right? If you're really embracing the far end of remote workforce, a thin client also fits this bill. Okay. It has to have a few things. It must have a camera. That full stop. It must have this. Right. This is important for team cohesion and something that we address in our management video. But people must join meetings with video. That's a non-negotiable item. Uh, from there, the quality of speakers and microphones can vary greatly. My laptop has an oversensitive microphone, the built-in one, and really can't be used. It picks up a fan at the other end of the house, right? So I personally am a fan of over-the-ear wired headphones. It gives me a physical mute switch, so I can ensure that I'm muted when I need to be, and it doesn't give me any of the feedback issues. If you don't have some kind of headset, whether it's just earbuds, headphones, and your laptop mic, right? Or any combination thereof. If you're using the built-in equipment on a laptop, you're never going to be welcome on a call, and you're going to be muted because you're going to get feedback like crazy. So, picking devices can also be an issue. We offer packages therein, and we handle the purchasing, the pre-deployment, the setup, delivery for our clients. It streamlines things. It makes life easier, and deployments are a lot smoother. It also allows us to unify devices in a company, so that way you don't have the arms race of people saying, "Oh, but I have an old computer and this person just got a brand new one." We simplify it, we streamline it. All right. Item 5, telephone service. This one is really commoditized and gets lost in the shuffle, right? The majority of companies already have some kind of cloud service as well, whether or not you know it. Even if you got a 20-year-old system, right? If you've changed providers at any point, you more than likely have SIP trunks already running into it. Uh, Even if your system is not SIP enabled, it's going to be SIP trunks to what's called an ATA, and that's going to connect. right? Copper lines are just old, and AT&T back in 2009, if I remember correctly, was petitioning to get rid of them. So you're already on the cloud. You just don't know it yet. Or you have bought in on a cloud solution to varying degrees of success, right? So you want a solution that integrates what you do while being cost effective, okay? We're looking to avoid the expensive hardware deployments that from capital outlay. And cloud really provides the flexibility that you need in a remote workforce, all right? With Find Me, Follow Me, with cell phone applications, with soft phones, all of these items, it's a lot easier to interact with a cloud solution, especially one with a full unified communications suite. Okay, it makes presence management and a lot of higher end features work really well. Right. It needs to have that flexibility too, though, to provide soft phone uh, or any other client, and then a physical handset can be pretty handy. I myself am a soft phone user. A few people in our office really like the feel of that handset, though. So I'm sitting at home with my headset, and when I call up one of my sales staff who's really big on a physical handset, right, he picks up a phone, he uses it. It makes him more comfortable. Uh, if you're looking for a change in that one, our Total Voice suite of services really it fits the bill. It comes in a few flavors, and it takes your remote workforce and really pushes it forward, right? When we went full remote, we hardly had to make any tweaks to how we did our call flows or anything like that because we like to do it right the first time. And when we sent everybody home, there's basically no changes that had to be made. All right. Software. This one can be a real big issue. Okay. Most businesses already use Office 365, although this has been rebranded, so if you're listening to this, it's Microsoft 365 now. There are people who like G Suite as well. I personally not a huge fan. I find the products to be a little underpowered. Sheets versus Excel, hands down, Excel to me is just better. But some organizations G Suite can work for. Video conferencing and collaboration, those things go hand in hand. So much so that we skipped past the Zoom craze and went straight to Microsoft Teams. All right, remote workers will fail without the correct software. All right, they will fail without the right collaboration tools. The whole thing will just come apart at the seams. Okay. If you haven't embraced full virtual desktop, right, you're also putting yourself a little behind because you're going to need to use the stopgap measure of Dropbox or SharePoint or some other file sharing device to go along with your collaborate whatever you're using for lightweight collaboration because your file server is not going to be up to the task long term. Let's see. eFax is also a corner case for many companies, unless you have a real heavy fax user or you have an industry compliance need like medical. You really don't use fax. I think I've received one fax in the last 2 years that wasn't junk. However, we do offer a secure remote workforce ready fax solution, right? So we're not tied to machines. We're meeting all the encryption and compliance needs. Um, you can send faxes from your house. It works really well. And then CRM, it's highly business dependent, right? We use TigerPaw. There, you might be using Salesforce, whatever it is. It needs to have integration with everything that we've mentioned before, right? Does your phone have a hook into it that allows for screen pops or anything like that? You're going to need it. Then we have peripheral devices, and this one's a little loosey-goosey. Most everything is paperless or has at least attempted to be paperless. So printers and scanners, they're a lot less useful, right? with eSign and everything like that, and a good PDF editor, you don't really need a lot of paper. However, much like the handsets, there's some things that do work better with paper and some people that work better with paper, especially if they need a printout to hand in when they meet with a customer or anything like that, in which case a printer or scanner should be distributed to customer facing roles, right? Sales, customer advocates, on-site support staff, any of that, right? Because from a customer perspective, I much prefer being handed a physical copy in a meeting, right? If you say that, oh, well, I can provide these services or look at these reports, right? I want to be handed that. I really dislike the let me spin my laptop around and show you. Same as I personally dislike the I'll email it when I get back to my office response when someone says, oh, I got a report, but I'll just send it to you later. Um, I don't want to have to hunt you down, right, to get that email. So have a printout. So some people will need a printer or a scanner. Additionally, if you're doing something like this video here, you might need some recording studio equipment. Uh, if you want to do some fancy videos or anything like that for customer education. So that's something to think about. One of the other things I want to say here at the end is you want a solution that provides an actual competitive advantage. Okay, remote workforce can be made very cookie cutter. It can be deployed, rapidly if we don't take into any consideration how your business actually operates, right? I tell people all the time to resist the cookie cutter approach to business. A highly specialized company, right, can work well for some industries, okay? But in IT, a high specialization typically is a negative. If I only specialized in law firms, then every new sale that I make to another law firm reduces the value of the technology I sold to you. You buy technology because it makes your life better and ideally is going to give you a leg up in your business, right? It's going to make you better than your competition. It's going to make you more streamlined than your competition, okay? But if I'm selling it to everybody, it does nothing. I see this the most often in medical practices where everybody who presents themselves as an IT person or company, right, will come in and say they specialize in doing your cardiology clinic. But they also specialize in Tim's pulmonary clinic and Donna's ENT clinic. And they really are just rolling out a specialized one-size-fits-none solution. All right, so work to get an actual competitive advantage. If someone's sitting there resting on their laurels about how much their solutions provide for your specific industry, it's probably not good. And lastly, get help with your deployment. Don't take it on yourself. Call us, email us, right? We are happy to talk with you. We are happy to work with you to help you get through all the issues that remote workforce can throw up if you are not prepared. Okay. If you have any other questions, specifically for me, right, call the same number. Ask for me. Ask for William Wintowski. They'll get you to me. And from there we can have a chat. I'll happily meet you for a coffee. I'll buy it, right? Or if you just want to chat about your business goals and what you need help with, by all means, we provide a lot of service to our customers. Half of it is consulting, whether it's IT or just business. We've been around for a long time, and we will share that knowledge freely. So give us a call. Thank you for your time, and look for more videos in our series. Thank you very much.